What is going on, everyone? How you doing? Yeah, that was insane. That giant game was crazy. Good morning. So, everything's slightly red here, or most things, except Apple and Coin. Apple is green, up 0.5%, surprisingly. Everything else is red. Q's down 0.35%, sitting above this previous support here, right from last week, the 7th. Also kind of right below this level here. We do have this previous support here. We have this resistance. So we're sitting below a pretty big resistance, 370.47 or so. We're also below this previous resistance here. Looks pretty bearish if this breaks, right? If this starts to break, I think we're going to push down 365 or lower. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Tracy and Ant. Thank you very much. SPY, we have this resistance here, turned into a support, right? We're below that here on SPY. SPY looks pretty bearish, right? We have a double bottom at 442.75. And if this breaks, I think we're going to push down to 441 or so. Thank you, everyone, for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. So this looks pretty bearish. Going to look to take puts if this continues to drop at open. Okay. VIX. Let's take a look. So VIX is breaking this resistance, right? Reject once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. It's pushing up here. Right? We have this resistance at 1468, which was a previous support. So if this starts to push up, everything else is going to start to move down. So we'll watch SPY to the downside as this starts to push to the upside. Right, super clean chart. Here is Tesla. Looks pretty bearish now. Right, we had this triple top here, higher lows. If this breaks below 271, I think we'll pull back probably. We also have a gap to fill to the downside. Down 0.9% here, so we need to watch the downside there. Nvidia down 2.2% pre-market. We were in this wedge, but it's down 2.2%, so it's kind of totally invalidated. You're gonna have to wait for a new setup to present itself because there's not going to be much here. Shop, right? We had these higher lows, lower highs. We were sitting below this previous support, which acted as a support and resistance a little bit back there. But we do have this previous bounce right here. We do have a gap to fill to the downside. Below 61.72, this is probably gonna drop much further. So I'll set an alert at that 61.72 level. And we could definitely push lower there. So that's an interesting chart. Meta wasn't able to fully break out last week, right? Broke out, totally pulled back, right back at the lows here. Looks pretty bearish now that it rejected, right? Big sell-off last week. Looks like it might break down. Coin is up 2.25%. Higher lows, lower highs. We have this previous double top here, or triple top, whatever you want to call it. And it's starting to break out of this kind of wedge that we have here. So this could totally break to the upside. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll move it up a little bit here. But again, everything's pretty weak here, pre-market. So don't really want to go against the trend or the overall, theme of what the market's going to do today. Let's redo this chart. Google Nothing really here, honestly. If anything, it kind of looks like it could be putting in this rising wedge. Could be a little early to assume that, but we have this kind of double top here also. Right, resistance, resistance, higher lows. Right, it's starting to form this top here. Could be. Let's see if there's any major resistances near. You know, we could use this previous support as a new resistance. It's getting close. You know, we could also drag this down to here. There's a bunch of ways we could draw it. So that looks pretty decent. If this resistance holds and to push down lower, it's not bad. Apple, right? We have this head and shoulders, left shoulder head, right shoulder. It's up a bit pre-market, but overall weakness today in the market. So we also have this previous support, resistance, I mean, that acted as support, acted as support, acted as support, turned into a resistance. So if that rejects, then, you know, it looks like it might break this support below. Netflix, huge sell-off last week. Right, the chart was perfect, actually. We had this big level here at 438, broke down, pulled back, retested, and then just continued to the downside. Let's see what else we got. Amazon doesn't really look like too special. Rivian, just sitting there. PayPal. Let's see, all these other charts kind of look eh. BABA is breaking below into this gap. Right, previous support, support, support. Now we have a gap to fill to the downside here. So that looks pretty weak too. AMD looks pretty weak. Right, has not been able to break through. Been testing this resistance multiple times now. Oops. Right, rejected, 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 rejected again. Over and over and over again. AMD has this huge support though. Right here, right where we're getting very close. Let's see if I could get it on there. There we go. Right, so back around 2021, we bounced once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Turned into a resistance. Acted as resistance, right? Acted as support again on August 25th. And then we're getting very close to it again. So 99.51 is a huge support. So we gotta watch that level and see what happens there. That's one of the biggest levels you gotta watch for if you watch at AMD. I would wait for at least some strength if you want to play calls off that, because market is pretty weak. But you know, that 99.51 or 99.50, if you want to just call it flat, is a pretty big support. But I'm going to be watching QQQ and SPY open, looking at taking puts, looking for a quick scalp at open. I'm going to be increasing my position size a bit. And yeah. All right, last week we killed it all week. Friday, lost pretty much all the gains. You know, it happens. Sucks. Probably risked too much, traded a little bit too much. It was OPEX. So, you know, got the best of me. It is what it is. Move past it, and we focus on the trades this week. What are you guys watching? What's everyone else watching? You're watching Airbnb? Let's take a look at Airbnb. Yeah, so Airbnb, right, it has that little higher low. If this breaks below this previous support, 141.69, it's probably going to test this gap here. All right, we have a gap from 139 all the way down here, you know, or you could use this level too. Right, resistance, resistance, resistance. So pretty big gap there below on Airbnb. You like Tesla puts a lot? Yeah, Tesla has that triple top right below that previous resistance here as well. Right, We had the gap above. And if it starts to break down, we have a gap below here. Let's take a look at the daily. Right, the daily, it's, you know, rejected a bunch of times here too. Yeah, so that looks pretty weak. And the video looks pretty weak. Let's redo this chart, see if we could see anything here. So key levels right around there, right? Resistance, resistance, support. You know, tried to act as support but failed. Next big level below is going to be right around here, right? Resistance, support, support, support. So in between this zone, it's probably going to just bounce. But we want to see a move to 419 ideally. So looks pretty decent. If it could, just in this range here, needs to do something. You're watching Netflix. Yeah, the thing is, Netflix sold off so much last week that just, I don't know how I feel about that. It's not just doesn't fit my strategy, but if it works for you, it works for you. I'm going to look to play SPY at the break of this double bottom. Right, we have this previous resistance above, acted as support, so big resistance above. If we end up pushing, I would love to see a rejection there. Yeah, that's what I'll be looking for. And then we also have this huge level above at 445, so I don't think that would break. Regarding events, we do have FOMC this week. So, big event on Wednesday. Let me post it here quickly for you. So, here it is. Here's the events. So we got building permits tomorrow, and then Wednesday we got FOMC, which is going to be huge. Hopefully they don't increase rates again. That would kind of suck. So we'll see. I just posted that in the watch list section of the Discord. You're watching Moderna. I don't really like playing the COVID names. Let's take a look though. Yeah, just so weak overall, right? We have this huge support that it's sitting at, or resistance, I guess. Right, support, acted as support, now acting as a resistance. So, I mean, if it could break there, fine. I'm assuming you're talking about this one. All right, kind of breaking out here. You could draw like that. You could. There's a bunch of ways you could draw this. You want it to break 115.61. Or you could just use this one. 117, right? Support, resistance, resistance. You can use that also. Yeah, Apple's up. Surprisingly. Yeah, not a fan of COVID names. We'll see what happens though. It's at a pretty solid resistance here. So, but definitely gonna watch SPY and QQQ at open. But yeah, that's really all I'm going to be watching. So I'm going to go get the Zoom set up, and I will see you all there. Good luck this week, guys.